All right. Well, hey, everybody. So happy to have you for today's Lunchtime Learning Blast. The benefits of coaching your employees, what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to begin with the good old-fashioned question, which is, Pete, coaching versus feedback. Well, most of you know, if you're a Merit System employee here, we do 2 to 3 hour training classes on this topic. So we'll do a whole session on coaching, we'll do a whole session on feedback, and we kind of do some back and forth between them. So here's my interpretation of it. I view feedback, especially constructive feedback, as a one-time event. All right, so it happens here, it happens there, it happens intermittently. Same thing holds true from a positive feedback perspective. That's just, pulling somebody aside, telling them that they did a great job today, explaining that to them, giving them that positive feedback. You have an employee who is supposed to perform a certain task or, keep something, keep their computer locked when they walk away from their desk, and you come by and see that they haven't locked their computer. Give them some quick feedback, some just-in-time feedback. So that's kind of, a small little section of what I call the whole coaching model. Coaching is looking out for your employees as a supervisor and being there for them as they go through their entire career. So this could be everything from, coaching them in their career development. It could be coaching them to help achieve their annual goals. It could be coaching them through a bad attitude throughout an entire calendar year. Could be all types of things like that. So coaching, again, if you think about a sports analogy, coaching's a long season. These coaches are given feedback throughout the moment, but they're coaching a long time. And so I think coaching's important. I know I don't do it enough, just to be very transparent. I know a lot of managers don't make a lot of time for this. They'd rather just get in and get out. Let me get in, give you feedback and get out. So today we're going to share just a few benefits of why I think, and we can also use a peer-to-peer coaching model. There's a lot of companies that kind of do that as well. So keep that in mind if you've got a really strong corporate culture where peers can look at each other and say, hey, we somewhat do that here in our training department, where sometimes the trainers will sit in on other trainers' classes and they'll say, hey, by the way, I saw you do this. That was really good, but maybe work on this, or they'll give them some positive feedback. So there could be peer-to-peer coaching, but today I'm talking strictly about, management supervisory coaching. So Robert, good to see you today. Hope you're feeling good, buddy. Rhonda, hope you're feeling good. Michael, hope everybody's feeling good. So thanks to those of you who are on here live right now. All right. So here's some of the benefits to coaching. You want to think about your high potentials. I saw an article on LinkedIn this morning that talked about we are in the midst. Now, again, we work for local government, so let's take this all with a grain of salt. But we're in the midst of one of the largest times for employees to change jobs that we've ever seen. There's a dearth of jobs available out there, both in the professional and in the industrial sector. You've got some people who have changed their work-life priorities, their balances during COVID. A lot of people realize, hey, after working remotely and now coming back, or a hybrid, I wasn't that happy to begin with. I've learned. So there's all types of reasons where there's some turnover happening right now. All the more reason from a coaching perspective is to groom those high potential employees. You don't want to give those employees who are working with you or working for you any reason to transfer out, any reason to look for a new job. And so that's as simple as sitting down with them and talking about their career goals, sitting down and talking about them about the benefits of being in this organization. If you find yourself going to retire or move on in 2, 3, 5 years, there are people to take your places. So you can't do that without coaching. If you're not having a constant dialogue with your employees, especially your high performers, they may say, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Why am I expending all this time and energy when no one even cares, when no one's looking out for me? In fact, the poor performers are getting more coaching than I am. They're getting constantly. So why am I busting my butt? So again, if you've got really great employees, especially those who have high potential, coaching and talking and communicating and feedback with them is a great way to keep them engaged. So number one, you could always groom those. Number two, another benefit of coaching, I put down here, planning drives performance. And here's what I mean by that. Coaching should be part of a plan. Coaching is part of a structured plan. Again, I keep going back to the athletics analogy, but you can think all the time about, coaches have their first 15 plays of the game in football scripted out. They've got a first half plan. They've got a second half plan. They've got, okay, if it's 3rd and 15, we're going to do this. If it's 3rd and 3, we're going to do this. There's always a plan in place, but we don't do that with our employees. We just say, come to work. You doing okay? Everything good? All right. Let me know if you need me. So let's get a plan together. Are we going to meet one-on-one quarterly? Are we going to meet, ad hoc? Are we going to do virtual meetings? There has to be a plan, and in this plan of this coaching plan, what are we going to talk about? Are we talking about performance? Are we talking about hitting your goals or aligning your behavior with our mission, vision, and values and all these things? So coaching can't just be done willy-nilly. Now, feedback can be given here, there, whatever. You don't have to have a plan really. Feedback happens in the moment. But if you're truly going to coach your employees to great success, if you're going to coach them, in fact, if you're going to coach them out, if you have employees who say, my goal is to be out of here within 2 years and be working at a higher level in a different agency or different, you can help them do that, by having those transparent discussions. We just assume people want to stay with their jobs forever instead of asking them. And the reality is, oh, well, you want to move out of here within 2 years? Well, I'm going to shut you down and not give you any coaching then. Why would I waste my time? You want to waste your time because they are then going to be a booster for your organization when you're recruiting and trying to get other people there. People always get this wrong, in my opinion. They always say, why should we train and develop you? You're going to take your skills elsewhere. When they take their skills elsewhere, they're going to be talking highly about your company, as opposed to telling people don't go work there. They don't even care about their employees. So the reality is people are going to move. So why not give them the best possible opportunity while we're there? And if you disagree with that, put that in comments. I'm totally okay with that, but that's just sort of my take on it. Number 3, creating a coaching culture. It builds skills and confidence for both parties, So number 1, for me as a supervisor, I don't like having difficult conversations with my employees. I've got to do time management skills for myself. If I'm going to do a quarterly talk with Michael and Kim and Greg or whatever, I got to put it on my calendar. And then, as they'll tell you, move it around all the time. But, so that builds my time management skills. That builds my communication skills. That builds my coaching skills. So it helps me become a better supervisor. Well, for the direct reports, it builds their skills as well, because coaching, you're giving them that feedback. You're giving them stretch goals. You're telling them where they're shining and where they're not. You're helping them accomplish things. So another benefit to coaching is it's going to build up skills and build their confidence level. A lot of times we have employees who just don't think they can do it, don't think they can do it well. You've got to get in there and coach and say, what you did here was good. What you did here, have you thought about this or have you thought about that? Because they're going to have new ways to do that as well. So building skill and confidence, I think, is great. The thing about continuous coaching on a year-long cycle is it shows that you care as a leader. It shows that you take a vested interest in each one of your employees. Some of the things we're reading now is, like I mentioned earlier, some of the employees or the job force, if you will, has more capacity to move around. And if management doesn't show that they care by sitting down with me and asking me my career goals, what do I want to hit? Giving me feedback on what I'm doing well and not doing well, it shows I care. So being part of that continuous coaching annual loop, it's not just a performance appraisal once a year. All right, come in, sit down, let's talk. Here's what you did great, sign here, move on. So coaching is a long-term process. It's a continual process. It goes on all year. So I think another benefit is it shows that you're a good manager, shows that you care. So if you want to build your own brand, you want to build yourself up a little bit, again, create these coaching cycles and coaching moments with your direct reports. And finally, it fosters a culture of learning and development. Don't you want your department, your organization, your department to be known as one that is all about learning and continual growth and all of that? Well, if none of the managers are coaching their employees, then it's not going to happen. They're just going to go, yeah, we come to work. My manager goes, you need anything? No, I'm fine. Okay, good. And maybe they'll check on me another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And I've got some needs, but I don't want to bother them because they look so busy. So the employees don't feel connected with that. So again, if you're doing coaching all the time, you're recommending TED Talks. You're recommending books, you're recommending conferences, you're recommended LinkedIn Learning, you're forwarding articles, you're sharing information because they asked about other agencies, or how do you transfer in the merit system? Well, let's talk about how you transfer, or how do I move up? How do I get promoted? So I'm sharing information. It's this culture of learning. And if I don't know the answer, I'm going to go find it out. You can find more and more studies right now that show that learning and development and self-improvement is high on people's wish list for their next job and career. In fact, I was doing a talk the other day and I had a quote from the chief HR manager from Amazon, who said, employees are looking for companies who have a culture of learning. Well, coaching is part of that learning process. So if you're coaching, you're learning, you're developing. So that's kind of cool as well. So that's it. Again, this is not how to coach. You're like, great, Pete, this is great. How do I do it? That's a whole different one. Come to our training class, or maybe we'll do a lunchtime learning blast in a little while about, that. But grooming your high potentials, that's one benefit. Helps with recruitment of your good people. Planning, it lets people know that you're planning out a cycle for them, so they're not just willy-nilly every single day. Confidence builds the confidence for you, builds the confidence for your employees. It's continuous, so it shows that you care. So you're building your personal brand as a caring manager. And finally, it creates a learning and development culture. And employees want to be in a culture where they're constantly getting better, where they're achieving their goals, hitting their vision and mission. So I hope those 5 tips will help you out today. All right, final 60 seconds for everybody who's still on. As a reminder, we do trainer talks. Trainer talks are kind of like this, but there's 3 of us on here, and we're just doing witty banter, just nutty conversations back and forth about topics that might apply to managers and employees. Had to postpone the one last week on customer service for government. We'll roll it forward, hopefully to July. But I think next week we're doing performance management. Boy, you talk about tying into coaching. Why does performance management matter? And if you're sitting there going, well, I don't even know what performance management is, then this is the trainer talk for you. So jump on in. We'll be live on Facebook. You can leave your comments. We'll answer your questions. That'll be a lot of fun. And boy, we're rolling. I cannot believe we're rolling through June, almost halfway through right now. We've had some great lunchtime learning blast. If you missed any of these, they're on our Facebook page. So always scroll back through the Personnel Board of Jefferson County Facebook page. If you're a Merit System employee, they're also on our Merit Matters website. But today we had coaching. Tomorrow, 9 ways to reach your full potential. Then Wednesday, 10 dangers of talkative leaders. Again, that's me. So I have to attend this one to know how much trouble I'm going to be in. Then Friday, 10 ways to appreciate diversity. I mean, it's a big week of lunchtime learning blast. So all this week, hopefully at noon, you'll have something that'll pique your interest, help you be a better employee and a better manager and a better overall person. So thanks for joining everybody who was online today. We had quite a few folks who were here. Thank you so much. Go out there and be the best coach you can be. Make yourself a great leader. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Monday. We'll talk to you soon.